Hello everyone, my name is Yoko. On this channel, I will be disseminating information that I have collected in English, as I feel that the information that is happening in China is often not accurately conveyed to countries other than China. We obtain information from multiple media sources, so we would be happy if you could give us your opinions on the content of the video in the comments. Also, my native language is not English, so I use an AI speaker to create audio to convey information correctly. If you like it, please subscribe to the channel and support us. This time I will talk about typhoon damage. In the second half, we will also talk about the management crisis of the subway. In a previous video, I talked about a typhoon passing through Beijing and its northern side, and now another typhoon is hitting China directly. The local government was urging people to refrain from going out. This is a year of rare disasters in China, as the previous typhoon caused considerable flooding, and the next typhoon struck again just as the floods were being cleaned up. After the last typhoon made landfall in China, it moved northward and had a fairly large impact on northern China. This is a natural disaster plus a man-made disaster, and other lands were sacrificed to protect Beijing and Shanghai new area. This is said to have created a new form of discrimination in China. In China, where you live is an important point in determining the level of safety you can live in. Lands valued by the Chinese Communist Party are more protected than other areas. Even if we say that we will be protected, there was damage caused by the last typhoon, and man-made disasters are occurring even in core cities, which shows that the Communist Party's limits are low. They then cause flooding in other areas, reducing the damage to Beijing. The lives of the people living in the land that will be sacrificed are seen as having low value in China. It was said that if you lived in the affected city, you would be burdened with the burden of every flood disaster in the future, but now you are in a situation where that nightmare may come back soon. If this typhoon moves northward and brings heavy rain to northern China, I think towns that were turned to mud by previous typhoons will be hit by muddy waters once again. By the way, northern China has still not recovered from the flood damage. The damage has spread so widely that it is impossible to restore the house to its original condition, even if the inside of the house is covered in mud. Just organizing your home can be difficult. The next typhoon has arrived in a situation where it is difficult to dispose of large amounts of garbage, so from the perspective of ordinary people, I think the Chinese Communist Party should prioritize their own country. I think the upper echelons of the Chinese Communist Party are only trying to save themselves by sacrificing the people of some regions. The top brass of the Chinese Communist Party are not thinking about helping all the people or moving cities from flood-prone areas to safer areas. Therefore, in addition to natural disasters, many people in China will repeatedly suffer from water damage due to artificial water spraying by the Chinese Communist Party. This typhoon has caused damage in China, but the extent of the damage is unknown. We will let you know if we know the damage situation. From here, I will tell you about the subway company's financial crisis. This is an article from July 2023, and it says that 27 cities are running subways in the red, and that this will have a major impact on the fourth phase of subway construction. China has been attracting attention for some time because subways in various parts of China are operating in the red. This is not just a problem for the companies that operate the subways. There was an article saying that Beijing's subway debt exceeded 500 billion yuan. 500 billion yuan means approximately 10 trillion yen in Japanese yen. The article also states that Beijing subway has a debt of 533.8 billion yuan. This is just one example. Subway projects in various parts of China are developed and operated with large amounts of debt. This is not just a problem for the companies that operate the subway. There is a lot of money that flows into the city through shadow banking, such as banks that lend money to subway projects. By the way, in order to borrow money, you have to go through a special corporation. It is a corporation created by Chinese local governments as their own branch. Those who invest in these special corporations lend money because the government provides an implicit guarantee. This scheme is said to be the core of China's huge debt problem. If there is no profit from the subway project, those who invested will not be able to recover their money. Despite this, many places are in the red, which is a hidden debt of Chinese local governments. By the way, in China, similar problems occur not only on subways but also on long-distance railways. Although it costs a lot of money to develop railways, the basic business plan is that developing railways between cities will revitalize economic activity, so the ripple effect can be expected to generate a return that exceeds the investment. At the beginning, There were high expectations, but now people are questioning whether there is any point in carrying out the construction work itself. In short, railway projects are like public works projects. Because the private sector lacks vitality, the government is spending money on railway projects. This is the same phenomenon as Chinese real estate developers building ruins. We are building railways in areas that don't need them. Since it is a public works project, there is meaning in carrying out the construction work, so we do not consider whether the economy will be revitalized and a large return can be obtained, so there are many projects that are in the red. Public works projects temporarily circulate money around the world. While building a railway, jobs are created and there are economic effects such as the sale of materials used to build the railway, but the funding source is basically debt. Basically, in China today, railways have been completed where they are needed, so any further development will only result in lines in the red. At the moment, there are already a large number of routes in the red. Rather, the situation is that it is difficult to find a place that is profitable. The people who lend money to these projects will not come out unscathed either. Railways don't end once they're built, but after they're built, it costs money to maintain them. In addition to maintenance, it is necessary to employ many people to operate a railway company. It requires a lot of fixed costs, so unless you make a profit that at least exceeds your fixed costs, you will be in the red every year. Currently, we are making up for the deficit with debt, but someday we will reach a limit. There are many railway companies across China with the same problem. In China, all debt problems are postponed, but in order to postpone them, we have to take out new debt. In a normal country, it would be impossible to borrow additional money even though the country is running a deficit, but in China it is thought that they are using their political power to pull in money. However, if you use debt to pay back debt, the problem will only increase and there is a risk that you will go bankrupt at some point. We don't know when that will happen, and it looks like nothing is happening until a problem emerges, so the Chinese economy appears to be in good shape. The reality is that China's economy has major problems. That's all for now. See you next time.